Hey everyone, Matt here on another edition of Ask Ron. Ron, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Weather's beautiful. Christmas is over, so New Year coming.
That's right, 2024 is almost here. Can't believe this year has flown by. All right, we got a few questions for today. The
Okay, of
first one, big surprise, is from Tony and Angie Stewart,
course.
of course. All right, Tony and Angie say, thank you for the alumni event. My big takeaway from the deal that was made for us is the power of the NROD to make up for the lack of cash flow that may take place when we take over a higher interest loan. If and when rates come back down again, are there any strategies from taking advantage of lower interest rates on a house that we are lease optioning without killing the golden goose? I can't without refinancing the underlying mortgage, which is a no-no, but I wanted to ask the master.
Well, first of all, we better tell everybody what NROD means, non-refundable option deposit. Okay. And that's the big deposit you get when you put a tenant buyer in a house. However, uh, if you want to find properties with low interest rates, that might not be the right question. The right question is really what's the payment? What's the total payment? Because that's all I care about. And is there enough spread in there to have a nice monthly cash flow? However, there are ways you can target houses with lower interest rates. For example, you can rent lists of homeowners in any given area and several other specifics, and one of them being homes that were purchased prior to, I don't know, I'd say maybe 2000, so that you know that the interest rate, not 2000, 2020, so that you know the interest rates are lower before they started climbing up.
Mhm.
But I tell you, guys, you need to be working on the lower end houses right now. I tell you, because that's where your junkers are, and that's where many of your terms buyers are. That's all we've bought this year in lower end houses. Where I live, that's houses that would sell below 300,000, decent houses, decent neighborhoods, but still on the bottom end. So while you're looking for your terms deals, you're going to find the wholesale deals that need rehab. And I want you to get that in your portfolio of deals, because that's where your big cash comes from. There's no easier way to make money in real estate than wholesaling a house. And that means get a contract, sell the contract. And you know, when you do advertising and sellers call you, you don't know whether they got an ugly house or a pretty house. So I'm not telling you to target one or the other, but I can target the lower end houses where I'm going to get my ugly houses, whereas I probably aren't in my mid to upper end houses. So target, 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 target. That's what we're doing. We target low end houses. And then sometimes we get calls from higher end houses because they come from, oh, I don't know, maybe ads we run or the Gold Club leads or several other sources, but that doesn't mean we targeted them.
All right, there you go, Tony and Angie. Moving on to the next question. It's from Eric, who is with us in Florida. Eric says, hey, Ron, just got a lead with the lien slash mortgage from the local county community developed department funds.
Mhm.
And the funds were from the State Housing Initiative Partnership, as it appears that the loan comes due when the property is sold. The homeowner owns it free and clear other than this lien. I understand what the program is. I just wonder if you have any experience trying to work with an owner to finance a terms deal with someone holding one of these liens. Concerned that the county would pick up on a transfer even into a land trust and may be more likely to call it due. It is a $50,000 lien taken in July of 2022 on a home with an ARV of 200,000. Although small, the home falls into the pretty house category.
Well, okay. It's one of those questions with a lot of stuff left out. First, you didn't tell me what you'd have to pay for the house. You just told me there's a $50,000 lien on it. But I'm not worried about that lien. I would just have the seller put it into a trust at closing. Don't get too complicated trying to explain it to them. Just and then have them assign the beneficial interest to you. I would not worry about the calling the loan due on that one, because the state must also know that if the house is in a trust, they can't call it due because it transferred. But if you really want to be safe, then just lease option it because there is no transfer and there is no merit for them to call that loan due. And your goal is to get somebody in there that cashes it out someday in the future, and then of course that debt gets paid off.
Right, perfect. There you go, Eric. All right, our next question is from Jeff, who is also with us in Florida. Jeff says, "Hey Ron, I ran a couple of ads on Craigslist and got a response. The response was that the seller is upside down, but his income to debt ratio is way off. He takes in 1,948 a month and he pays out 1,154, and his mortgage payment is 878. The house is worth 66,000, but he still owes 68,000. I think he had mentioned that it was approved for a short sale. What is the best way to handle this situation?"
I cannot understand that question. I don't know why you guys don't write them, assuming you're not the one writing them. How could I possibly answer that question? Those numbers you throw out there, you said he's taking in 1,900, he's paying out something, and then his mortgage payment is what? What is he paying it out on if not his mortgage payment? I just don't get it. I don't know what the darn question is. And then who's taking it in and paying it out? Is the seller taking it in and paying it out?
Man,
Come
we need
back.
some more information, Jeff.
Yeah, come back at me with a question that's understandable. Ask somebody that don't know anything about real estate if they understand it. And if they say yes, go ahead and submit it.
There we go. That should be a prerequisite.
It's a good idea.
Moving on to the next question for this week. It's from Kurt. He doesn't give his state, but Kurt says, "Hi, Ron. I'm curious to know where I might find a good master lease agreement and non-disclosure agreement."
Well, non-disclosure agreements are easy to get. They're all over the internet and on our Roll Club site. I don't think we have a master lease agreement on there. But honestly, if you're going to get into a master lease agreement, you should get your attorney to draw one up anyway. What you need to do is get any kind of an agreement. You can even use a purchase and sale agreement and just put right down there that you intend to master lease the agreement, and tell your seller that you're going to get your attorney to draw up one. It ain't going to cost that much because they're going to pull it out of the machine and put the data in there that applies to your situation, and it'd be worth it, because I don't think I'd want you to enter in one without the attorney drawing it up for you.
That's right.
A lot of things you got to consider.
Perfect. All right, Ron, we've come to the last question of the day. This one's from Charles out in Texas.
Wait a minute, before we go to that one, I'm wondering if he's even tried to do a Google search and look for a master lease agreement. Even then, you need to work with your attorney. If you actually you need to get the deal first, get the numbers down right first, then worry about the agreement. You got time before you close on it. That's when you worry about the agreement.
Right.
Just put down the terms. Just put down the terms. I don't care if you put them on a piece of notebook paper. Just put down the terms and get the seller to okay them, and then have your attorney create the agreement. I've done that, by the way. I have done that. I've done it on napkins when I didn't have anything else.
Yeah. And napkin works.
Yeah.
All
Not
right.
binding, not binding. I think it back out till that agreement is done and gets signed, but at least I got some reason to even go talk to my attorney about it, because without a commitment, I wouldn't waste the time or the energy or the money.
Yep. That's right. All right, Ron, we're at our last question.
Okay.
This one's from Charles out in Texas. Charles says, "I am planning on starting a Gold Elite VA subscription and have also enrolled in the upcoming Quick Start, but I haven't done the training yet." I guess he uses in regards to the Quick Start. Should I wait until after the course to kick into gear so my business models your guidance?
Okay. Well, you didn't tell me which Quick Start you enrolled in. Is it the virtual in January or the live one in Vegas in February, or both? Because frankly, you should do both. Nothing's going to compare to the live event. Nothing. I mean, we don't even structure deals or call sellers in the virtual event that we do in the live event. And we'll have a bunch of mentors out there just because it's Vegas. And I hope you guys are going to bring a bunch of leads. So back to your question. Let's say you were to register right now and tell them that you, well, if you're just talking about, do I want to get registered so I can start generating leads and use our VAs? The answer, you need to do that right away. If you're going to get a mentor and you know it, I would get that probably sometime in late January or anytime between now and then. Remember, you can get a mentor and start when you want. Okay. So if you get a mentor now, you want to start at least a good month ahead of the live boot camp. Gives you plenty of time to get some Gold Club leads coming in and maybe generate some of your own. But if you are getting, I wish I knew which one you were going to, because if you're going to the virtual event, I won't work on your leads there, but you will be able to see what to do with your leads while you're there at the very least. And also in some of these VSPO leads, the older they are, the better they are within reason. Okay, you generate leads in January, they're probably still good in February. You generate them in January, they're not good in December. All right. So just telling everybody, don't bring us leads that are 6 months old and expect us to pull miracles out of them. All right. But you know, they don't have to be 3 days ago either. So in a nutshell, answer is I would start generating leads actually pretty quick and find out what your weaknesses are. Maybe you can correct them by the time you come to the boot camp. And then when you get there, we will certainly go through that in detail and you can correct them at that time. Plus you get a chance to sit down and talk with a mentor about what's going on in their business. And I'll have several of them there and you can pick their brain about what's working for them. Of course, we'll do that in class, but for that live environment, by the time you leave, you'll know exactly where to get leads. And should have already started, so we can talk about your weaknesses while you're there. You won't know if you don't start first.
Right.
Plus, you should get the terms course and the rehabbing and the wholesaling course when you registered for the boot camp. First thing you want to do is listen to the terms course and then jump right to the wholesale. Actually, I don't care which one, in which order, because you're going to be doing both of those. And that's also going to give you the answer on where to get leads and so forth.
Ron, that was all she wrote for today.
All right. Okay. I'll see you all next week at almost New Year's Eve. And maybe this is a good time for you to get kicking and make next year a really good year for yourself. Got to make the decision sooner or later if you haven't already. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know what's going to happen in the near future. I get different opinions from different people. Of course, all of them are worth what they cost, which is nothing. So the best way to insure yourself against a calamity going forward is to make sure you get your cash flow up and your cash in the bank as quickly as you possibly can, without risk, without guaranteeing debt. This, in my opinion, is the worst time to guarantee debt with such an uncertain future. And I'm telling you, almost certain drop in real estate values. I read an article about Harry Dent from Harry Dent, which is an economist, day before yesterday. And boy, I'll tell you what, according to him, it's gloom and doom. And, you know, sky's going to fall and Chicken Little's going to come. And I would say, what a blowhard, but he's one of the only ones that I know of that predicted the 2008 calamity before it happened. So, and I know Harry. So, you know, I put a little more value on his opinion than anybody else. But I don't know. He don't know. I don't know. Nothing we can do about it anyway, except protect ourselves. And that means get out of personally guaranteed debt. Don't sign on anymore and get out there and get some cash flow going on in your life and get some money in the bank as well as some residual income. You know, remember, even in a recession, a deep recession, people are always going to need a place to rent. So it's not like you're not going to be able to get somebody in the house and paying for the house. They're always going to need a place to rent. And in fact, they need it more in a recession than they do in good times, like we just came through. So you should be prepared because it's coming. I know it's coming, but you don't ever have to worry about losing an asset that somebody wants to live in and pay you rent on at the very least. And that's the best way to protect yourself against a recession. Go get all the houses you can with non-recourse debt, subject to or owner financing, and put tenant buyers in there. And nobody, as long as you make that payment because you're collecting that rent, nobody's going to come after you for anything. You're not going to lose your assets. They may go down, but if it's not time for you to sell them, what difference does that make? They'll come back up. They always do. Just look back 10 years after 2008. Whew, man, we took a 40% in value hit here in Florida. 40% like that. It took us several years to get it back. I knew we would, didn't know how long it would take. Nobody knew how deep it was gonna get, whether they tell you that or not. Well, according to Harry, this one's gonna be worse than that one. So, in one way, I hope he's wrong for the sake of America. And another way, if he's right, it's a beautiful thing for real estate investors. The worse the economy gets, the easier it is to buy houses, and the easier it is to put tenant buyers in them that can't qualify, because the harder it gets to qualify. And that's with decent interest rates. Ours ain't decent right now. Okay, so ask yourself, how can I lose? And go to work fixing it, and do it now. Don't wait till it happens. Do it now. Get on it. And make next year the best year you can, because you're going to have to get trained on what to do and get out there and implement it, and just do what I ask you to do. If you just do that, you'll see the thing coming around very quickly. So, all right, sermon over, Matt.
All right, guys.
All right,
Have a
see
good
you
one.
next week. See you next week.